Can you buy a $670,000 property, only put down 10% deposit, and get the benefits of that price going up, of the whole 167,000 going up, by just paying a 10,000 deposit and locking in your price? We're going to tell you. Stick around.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Bergio, Mark Novak. 10% down, nothing to pay for 2 years. Sounds like we're selling washing machines or TVs, but we're not.
Too good to be true.
How are you, Jeff? Good morning. This top off the plan units, Mark, or new constructions are a little bit foreign to a lot of people, and they're not all, like a lot of agents or a lot of buyers, they're working in they may have lived or only bought in one suburb or one or two suburbs, and it's not common to have development. Like for us, it feels like, yeah, new development. But if you think about it, Mark, let's say you just lived in Coleroy and you've never lived anywhere else in Coleroy, you basically would have never seen a new build or bought a new unit. Like it's not.
But hang on a sec. If I told you that you could buy a property, lock in today's price, because it's a rising market. Everyone is talking the market up. It's a rising market. If I told you in a crazy market, like I think also the big banks were saying it's going to go up 30%. Yeah. If I told you on a $700,000 property that the big four banks are saying it's going to go up 30%, that's $200,000. If I told you that you didn't need the finance for $700,000 yet, you needed it in 24 months' time, but you could lock in your price of $700,000 and it's going to go up there may be the opportunity where it goes up $200,000 and you only had to put down 10%. That's nuts.
Yeah, and this will tick the box for people who may not be ready to move into something, may not be ready for finance, may have the 10% deposit ready, and obviously they may have been saying, I'm going to do a Europe trip, but obviously that's off the cards. Money may be coming in the future, and they're like, oh, I'd love to buy something, but I'm just not ready. What can I do? I don't want the money in the bank. Because, Mark, the money in the bank, it's not like the old days where you got interest. Well, a significant amount of interest. And people are like, where can I put it? I don't want to put it in shares. I don't know shares. I don't want to risk it because this is my unit deposit. I don't want it sitting there. I don't know what to do. And tell us a solution. Let's say you are in the position I've just said. What can you do? What should you do?
It's different to a dishwasher. If you're buying a dishwasher or an oven, the price doesn't go up.
Yeah.
Like for Harvey Norman, it's good news to say 24 months interest free. Just because it's good news, there's no interest. You get to lock in to buy what you want. You get to work towards the dream, or you may have said, I always want this plasma, I'm going to buy it. And I got 24 months, I'm going to enjoy it straight away, and I got 24 months interest free. This is different. This is an appreciating asset. This is good debt. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that's key, isn't it? Now, so putting 10% down, and so you don't have to pay anything, any taxes, any loans or nothing for 24 months?
There are first home buyers, there may be a way around it with stamp duty. I think investors, you may have to pay your stamp duty within a certain amount of period, but it's interest free. And what triggered us guys was I've had a couple of conversations this week, and people watching, you may just know this. You may just think this is very obvious. Of course, I know that. But most people actually don't. And what triggered me this week was a couple of conversations I'm having, and I'm speaking to these guys saying, they're going, what If I buy a new unit, which is what we're talking about today, and I put down a 10% deposit and it goes up 100,000, let's just say 100,000, that's half what the professionals are speculating, the banks are speculating. But say it just went up 100,000. You're saying if I buy for 700 and it goes up to 800, I still only have to pay 700. I'm like, yes. They go, what? You're saying that I don't have to pay interest on the 700? No. I don't have to pay a mortgage for 2 years? No. I don't have to because a lot of people.
I don't have to have finance for 2 years.
Yeah, like these guys are saying, what? I don't have to find. Like, how does that work? Because I don't want to buy off the plan because I don't have rent coming in to pay the mortgage for 2 years. People think like that, guys, and so let's set the record straight today.
And just with what you said with stamp duty, let's say you do have to pay stamp duty. If it is applicable, you can push it back, which is it's pretty cheap. It's like, I remember I did it. It was like 80 cents a day or something ridiculous. So you can either pay it within 6 months of purchasing the property, or you can push it back to settlement as well. But there's now with first home buyers, Mark, up to I think it's $1 million is the scale's best 850. So that you can almost get a 2-bedder, some great 1-beds, 1+ studies, and then it scales down up to $1 million. So first home buyers out there, there's a wide array of properties you will be able to buy with no stamp duty. So there's nothing to pay there. It takes some money out of your account, so there's no spending, it's forced, and you've got the asset. It's almost like you've got the growth benefits as if you bought it without having the repayments, which is great. So a lot of people will be like, I want to buy now, but I'm not ready to settle. And the market, everyone's saying it's going to go up 10, 20%. This sucks.
Yes.
Well, look at a new property, put down your 10%, and then you've secured it. You've locked in the growth. You've locked in the growth.
Why the hell would a developer allow you to lock in the growth? I don't get it. Why are they leaving that money on the table for them not to make and for you to make?
Yeah, banks. A lot of banks require, for the funding of the construction and the land, require the developer to get sales before construction can start. And then, like they say, before you start, we need 50% sales. And by 1 year, we need 80%. And so a developer, you use a great analogy, Mark. It's like if you only sell 3 bananas a week to a customer and you want them to buy 5 bananas, and in this scenario, bananas are property, but you only need 3, the only way to encourage you to take 5 or to sell 5 properties in that period is an incentive. So a really attractive price, and then you'll be able to sell. Because DY, let's say, only sells 30 properties a month, and if you need to sell 100 properties in a year, that's say 15 extra a month on top of what it normally does, there's got to be some incentive there. So that's why. So people can think, well, there's got to be a catch. Where's the catch? Because it sounds too good to be true. 10% down, lock in the growth, I get a brand new unit, all these tax benefits. Sometimes you can customize it. Yeah.
Do you know how else it's also good? Sometimes people don't have the lending capacity today.
Yes.
Sometimes they've just changed a job, or they've just started their business or whatever. They know 100% that business is good, that they're going to be pumping in 2 years' time. So it's actually quite good with that 24 months interest free, because what actually happens is you lock in your price today, you find the property you like today, and then you don't have the silly competition, by the way, that everyone's got at the moment, and you lock it in. And then in 2 years' time, when you've got your financial affairs in order and 2 years of trading and 2 years of group certificates and 2 years of BAS statements, or whatever that looks like for you guys, then you go for the finance, then you get the approval. But you want to be sure. We're not financial advisors. You want to be making sure you're making sound financial advice before you're buying off the plan, before you're committing. But you know what? When you buy a property, you go through those emotions anyway.
Yeah. You know what, Mike? That's key. There's a lot of people who had great jobs, a lot of savings and a pre-approval, which they lost because they either lost their job, got a pay cut, and they're like, this sucks. I had a 20, 30% deposit and they won't lend me this. I'm stuck. Now I have to find a new job, work my way through.
JobKeeper?
Yeah, I was on JobKeeper. This is a great opportunity for people who may have had a good deposit, a big deposit, minimal expenses, and you're going to get back into the workforce, and banks like to see a couple months working. You can buy a new property, put down the 10%, and you go, well, in 2 years I'll be good. So it's I think in these times with low stock, prices going 5, 10, 15, 20% above the guides, it's really good to look at it when you've got a development where there could be 5 or 6 you like, 5 or 6 within your price range. You've got a bit more time and you can go through the process.
So guys, this morning, if you've just tuned in, we're talking about 24 months interest free, locking in your price. This is for example, an off the plan property that we're selling. 670,000 is a 1-bedroom unit. 600,000 is a 5 odd for a studio. Yeah. Then you've got 2-bedders in there for 950. You got 3-bedders in there for just over $1 million. And the key is here. Another thing. That you've locked your price. So yes, you've bought it for today's price, but when you settle on it, you've locked in your 2021 price, and you settle in it in 2023. You're still paying a 2021 price. Here's another kicker: you can save a greater deposit. So if you and your partner are good savers and you've got the ability of saving $30,000 a year, well, you put your deposit down today of 10% and you save another 30 and another 30, and you're not paying interest, and that now you've got another 60 ready for settlement, and you spend the tax. You know what you do when you buy like this? You become a good citizen.
Yes.
For 2 years, your wife says to you, look, should we take that holiday? You go, look, at the moment, let's just hold off until we settle on the unit. For 2 years, should we buy the new car? For 2 years, you'll actually form really good disciplines because you're working towards the dream of buying your unit or settling in the unit that you've purchased.
And you know what, Mark? I was thinking with the first home buyer where you can only pull out of your super, say, 15 grand per year. This allows you to get through 2 financial years, if not 3. So you can pull out a little bit more money.
Okay, so can you say that one again? Say that one again. So that's a big one. So first home buyers, you can use your super to purchase properties under certain conditions. You got to qualify for these conditions, but there is the ability where you can use some of your super to purchase a property. So if you've got 2, but you can only pull out so much per year. And Michael, you nailed it.
Yeah, I think it's, say, for a single, it's 15 grand. For a couple, it's 30,000. So you may have some cash, but you want to not pay mortgage insurance if it applies. And you pull out another 30 grand each, you got another 60 grand. So 60 grand for a 600K unit, and then 60 grand again. You got your 20% deposit. You've got a couple years. There's great benefits to do it.
Who would have thought you could have got interest free with property? And this is a hack, and this is how you get interest free on a property while you've locked in your price while the market's going absolutely crazy. But guys, you have to buy in a low stock suburb. My advice is do not go and buy something where there's 1,000 or 2,000 units being built and replicated. Buy in a suburb where there's low stock and there's not a lot of new properties being dropped into the suburb all the time. So be careful about how many properties are going to be dropped into the top of the funnel, because coming out, you don't want too many properties coming out of the bottom. So low stock suburbs if you're buying off the plan.
And it's good to look at that way. You may think a lot of units are being built, but you got to look at how big the suburb is. And I think a good example is, let's say DY 3 years ago, a lot of people like so much development, but people didn't take into consideration there were already 9,000 units and they're building 600. Yeah, 600 is a lot, but 600 out of 9,000 is it? Compared to areas, say like Parramatta, where they had, at the time, they had a suburb of 4,000 and they were building 4,000 or 2,000. Big difference. Or
very good point. So strong
point. Just because you see a lot on the market or see a lot of construction, just do a bit of research, speak to the agent. It'd be very easy to find out how many properties are in a suburb or a postcode. But I think that's a wrap, and yeah.
Lock in your price, interest free for 24 months. Too good to be true. It's not. Talk to us. Pass this show on to someone who it can help. Love ya.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, mate.